Hello. So for this particular trip, we had gone as a group, which was good, I guess, different from the other trips. And it was at the time when Fringe had just started, that is 4th till 7th August. We did not plan to go for Fringe. However, we were very glad that's how things turned out to be. But due to the festival, the Fringe festival, the bookings were tight, the trains were booked, and they were so packed that we didn't even get a seat because we thought we would just get a seat, and we had not pre-booked for the seat. So I had to sit on the floor, and many others with me. So if you decide to go during Fringe, please do book your seats in advance. Although I do have to say that I only sat on the floor for the first 2 hours, after which I did get a seat, and the rest of the journey went pretty good till Edinburgh, and I've tried to make a good vlog. I hope you like it, and yes, enjoy watching it. After having climbed so many stairs with my suitcase to get to the hostel, since it was very centrally located, it was right opposite to the castle. So it was easy, but because of the Fringe festival, because of crowd, because of all the activities going on around, it was difficult to get back to the hostel. Although once I found it, it was really nice. I think the hostel itself was cute. It had different elements and giving it more of a DIY feel, and even the rooms, as you can see, the room was named underwear, and each bed was named after an underwear. And I think it was pretty interesting and cute, and these little it was painted on the wall. We do know that the architecture of Edinburgh is super cool, but the whole mix of old and modern architecture, as you can see, I think I loved it. On the first day, we just headed outside. It was evening and went for shows and just roamed around a bit. I think it was a very good feel altogether, and that's pretty much how the day went. And let's head to the next day. The next day, everybody decided to go for a hike, and I wasn't much into it. Therefore, I took the other route, and I walked towards the castle on the other side and just decided to stroll around and see what's there to see. By this time, I saw some posters of an art fair, which is something that I would have not missed had I known about it earlier. So I started making my way towards the fair, and for me personally, when I go around traveling, I love how there are monuments or attraction points and how life goes on right around them without it being treated any differently. Similarly, here there's a farmer's market right outside, and I was literally walking right around the castle, so the more I moved back, the more I could see the other sides of the castle. And the market itself, it was, as you can see, it's pretty alive. The fair happened to be much larger than I thought it to be. It was 100 plus makers, artists, and designers just selling their work. And as you can see, it's a West End fair, and even from the top, it was massive. There were like four floors, and you just walk around, stroll around, different stalls, different types of stuff being done. There was clothing, there was artwork, there was sculptures, there was jewelry, anything, and that's just everything there. Usually when I go to art fairs, and they're just, especially craft fairs, I think, and this is art and crafts and makers and for everybody, there's so many things I want to buy, home decor, or there was this particular shop which had maps. I think it was this one, and you can buy ancient old maps of the world. And I think it's so crazy to think that there are people who are doing it and making it available. It's crazy. I usually have to hold myself back from the kind of stuff I want to buy, because obviously there's cost, and well, traveling is expensive in itself. And so yeah, I did buy a few stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's always nice to be around so many different artists, designers, doing what they love, really putting their mind and heart into it, and making these beautiful creations and showing it to the world. Brilliant. I loved the fair so much. The walk away from the hostel kept getting more and more interesting as I kept walking, because I could get a wider view of where I was at that point. That's exactly the peak where the hostel is, right next to the castle. And I'm away from it now, and I don't know, the buildings, the stone, it just gives a very different feel when you look it up from far. And obviously the art and stuff, everything was so decorated. I think it just felt nice to be in a place which was so artsy. Unfortunately, it started pouring right when I was walking in the old town, and I think the view just got better and better. A lot of artworks I saw in the morning were of Victoria Street. It's so beautiful because of the colors and because of how the turn is.
Over the top, like this. You guys should be clapping or something, by the way. But it gets better. If you want to see this go higher, say higher. 1, 2, 3, everybody give me 2, 3. Well, like 1, 2, 3. Everyone give me a 1, 2, 3. Sound like cows on drugs.
There was just so much happening all around the ghost bus tours, or when I arrived there on the first night when you saw the fireworks. It was from the Royal Military Tattoo that happens, and that's the crowd going to the palace to attend it or view it. I did check the tickets and they were all sold out, so pre-book it if that's something you want to see. We had some time before our show started, the next show that we had booked, so we went into the National Museum of Scotland. Again, there was so many floors to cover. I don't think we did. We only covered part of it because then it was time for us to leave for the show. But whatever I saw, it was the fashion department I saw these sculptures, also this zoetrope, which I had studied about in class, about how it started the film. And I can see the horse running, upon moving it. So it was nice to see it in real life. And then we headed for a show of Ahir Shah. I wouldn't want to say much about him or the show, but all I'll say is this man is amazing. Very impactful work. And after the show, then we headed for a ghost tour. That's where you see everybody going, and there were sweet little stories we heard about the folklore that runs around every town. We also went to the graveyard where apparently there are a lot of people buried down. It was interesting to see how those stories impacted the lives of people even today. We decided to go to an arcade place just to end the day in a nice way, and first impression, amazing vibes, but slowly as we got into it, I don't think the games were as worth it. They weren't functioning properly, the remotes weren't functioning properly. I didn't quite enjoy it, so just stayed there for a while and then headed home. But I was excited to see the pinball game right here. The next day, this happened to be the last day, and we were excited for a few more shows we had booked. I think the advertisement was spot on of all the artists' shows, and of course the buildings, the architecture, the whole vibe. We decided to go watch 2 shows. One was the Coconut, which I think was a very, very nice show. The other happened to be in the Pleasance, and there are multiple shows that happen there. It's a theatre place. So I feel if you want to check out their website, that would be good to see what all you want to see. We watched Santi and Naz, which is a partition story, a queer partition story of India and Pakistan. And I was amazed to see the artist did amazing, brilliant job. I think it was another very, very impactful performance after Ahir Shah's show. And that's how the day ended and the trip ended, and made our way back.